with the club taking some part in drinking the Billericay clubhouse dry straight after that match. Farnborough's next game at home to Canvey Island the following Tuesday night might have come a bit too soon in terms of recovering from hangovers, but of course the outcome of this fixture was now irrelevant anyway. Graham Westley then, with all his strikers, including Bruno Mendonca, either not 100% fit or out for the rest of the season with long-term injuries, was therefore able to experiment with his forward line for this match by putting defender Mark Harper and midfielder Lenny Piper up front, while youngsters Chris Piper and Tony Taggart were now getting plenty of experience by being named in the starting lineup in wide positions. Canvey manager Jeff King, meanwhile, made 5 changes to the side that drew 0-0 at Basingstoke 2 days earlier in a Sunday match, but this was by all accounts quite close to the sort of side he might be fielding in their forthcoming FA Trophy final against Forest Green Rovers. So although Canvey had now failed to win in their last 5 league matches, it did look as if they were treating this fixture very seriously. If so, there were 2 reasons for that. Firstly, so that they could prove that they were better than Farnborough and would have won the league if it wasn't for the weather. And secondly, and perhaps more accurately, they were rightly treating Farnborough as a similar standard of opposition to that they'd be facing in the FA Trophy final. However, Farnborough looked a shadow of their normal selves early on, and maybe they had been celebrating too much as Canvey soon took control, with defender Mick Bodley going close after 9 minutes with a near-post header from Adam Miller's corner. In fact, when Canvey took the lead just 3 minutes later, it was a very tired-looking swing of the leg from Farnborough's Justin Gregory that resulted in Chris Duffy's cross sneaking into the far corner, with keeper Stuart McKenzie obviously expecting him to volley the ball away quite easily, not miss it completely. Unfortunately though, Gregory then had another nightmare after only 14 minutes when he somehow injured himself in an innocuous looking challenge with Canvey's Adam Miller, and on being x-rayed later in hospital was found to have a broken leg just above the ankle. Indeed, things then almost went from bad to worse for Farnborough, as while substitute Bruno Mendonca was getting ready to come on and replace Gregory, Canvey took advantage of the space Gregory had vacated to build up a move which forward Andy Jones really should have finished off with a decent shot, rather than the half-scuffed and feeble effort he directed straight at Farnborough skipper Steve Watson. Although Canvey had been having to play a match virtually every day for the past week or so, they did actually have a night off 24 hours earlier, and maybe that made a big difference to them, as they looked really sharp again in the 23rd minute when a slick 4-man move ended with midfielder Mickey Bennett running through to try and chip Stuart McKenzie. But the big Farnborough keeper did well and didn't deserve to have to face the corner that was wrongly awarded by a linesman standing 60 yards away. However, Canvey didn't make anything of that, but they certainly made the most of a free kick that was awarded to them in the 25th minute as Adam Miller stepped up to hit an absolute screamer past the unsighted McKenzie to put his side 2-0 up. However, the Farnborough coaching staff, and particularly Graham Pearce, wouldn't have been too pleased with how the defensive wall disintegrated to allow that shot to go right through them. This was now becoming very embarrassing for Farnborough, but Chris Piper gave them some hope just a minute later when he pulled a goal back from their first shot of the match, although he needed a big deflection off the shin of Canvey's number 8, Mark Stimson, to do so. Although the official attendance for this match was 1,124, not many Canvey supporters had travelled, probably because they had no money left after having so many matches to watch in a short space of time. And in a way it was a shame that the title race didn't all hinge on this match, as it would have been a near capacity crowd and a fantastic atmosphere, especially with Farnborough now getting into the game thanks to Piper's goal. However, there still would have been a loud roar if Mark Harper had directed his header from Lenny Piper's free kick into the top corner in the 31st minute, but the ball went narrowly wide and Farnborough had to go in at half-time 2-1 down, with that being the last chance from either side in the first 45 minutes. Any thoughts that Canvey might start getting tired in the second half because of all the matches they'd had to play recently were dispelled in the 49th minute though, when they again looked sharper all round with some good passing and movement despite the soggy pitch caused by incessant rain during the day, and they were almost toying with Farnborough by the time Stuart McKenzie put a stop to it by keeping out Craig Davidson's awkwardly bouncing volley. In fact, Farnborough were really lucky not to find themselves going further behind a minute later when a header from Steve Clark crashed off the underside of the bar, with Darren Annan then having to survive heated handball appeals from the rebound before he could safely clear the danger. Thankfully for Farnborough though, Canvey seemed to settle for what they'd got after that and used the rest of the game to give all their substitutes a run out, as did Farnborough with Rodney Lynch coming on in the 73rd minute, who maybe had good reason to feel a bit peeved that he hadn't been given more of a chance with so many injuries to Farnborough's other forwards. However, maybe Graham Wesley was justified in thinking Lynch was still too inexperienced, as he didn't really have a sniff of a chance when he came on, but neither did any other Farnborough player in the whole of the second half, and it was Canvey defender Steve Ward who came the closest to scoring for Farnborough when he forced his own keeper Ashley Harrison into a desperate clearance with his head just outside his area, with both an overhit back pass and a lack of communication, but neither Lenny Piper or Scott Corbett could capitalise on that when Mark Harper tried to set them up from the loose ball. 2-1 to Canvey was how it finished then, and Farnborough's 21-match unbeaten run in the league had now been ended, although of course that didn't matter too much and it was probably a predictable result for many people, with Canvey trying to prove a point and half of Farnborough's side out injured.